Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Crapgamer, obviously Crapgamer Reviews. I wanted to do a video just because I had a little bit of time, and it means I will be podcasting kind of late today. But I was just kind of in the mood to get some stuff out there and to talk a little bit. So as you guys kind of shuffle in, if you wouldn't mind liking this video and sharing it out, I would appreciate it. It's going to be one of those days. I felt a little bit ranty or whatever, but I just some stuff I've been arguing a lot lately on Twitter, and some of the things that I've been seeing and hearing and from Phil Spencer interviews and stuff like that, just really kind of disenchanted with some of the things that Xbox is doing. So if you guys are just joining me as you kind of filter in, please like it and all that kind of stuff. I would really appreciate it. It does help out a lot. For me personally, I think that this is one of those funnier things because Phil Spencer has said this multiple times, and most recently, which I did link, it's not a super new story, by the way, where he was talking about he doesn't really care if you buy his consoles. And, I get it, right? That's not how Microsoft, quote unquote, makes their money. And I've said this multiple times too. The funny thing is, if you sell a ton of consoles, you'll have a ton of install base users to sell your services and software to, so you would actually make more money. And a lot of people don't seem to understand that. So when I see people talk about, oh, well, Xbox will be fine, like there's different things that people can do to sort of see what Microsoft is doing. Microsoft kind of, just the direction that they're going, obviously more of a streaming services. Maybe one day there'll be an app or something like that. That's like the last thing that I want to see Microsoft become, is some kind of streaming service or app or something like that. So hold on. I am going to answer questions and stuff as I go along, but I'm kind of pissed off right now. So I want to kind of bring this up. 1 second. Hold on. Somebody I saw just said, crap, I know you're disappointed with Xbox. I have a PlayStation YouTuber myself. The only reason why I would have an Xbox is for Gears of War, Halo, and exclusive. Everything else I mean, I agree. Look, Xbox will probably be like, I'll use my X, or if I do get a Scarlet next gen, I'll use it for for various purposes of playing exclusives or whatever. So here's something that is a bit of a new thing that just came out that I just saw across my page. So we know I've been bitching about Gears of War 5, right? My favorite franchise that Xbox has. They're not advertising it. This game comes out in, I think, 54 days or 53 days, and there's not been a single advertisement for it. Nothing at all for it. But now, according to this, Gears 5 will eliminate all smoking depictions after concern raised by youth anti-tobacco organization. Now, I'm not pro-tobacco or anything like that. I don't smoke, of course. But I just thought that this was just the most ridiculous thing, right? Like, you have Gears of War, which is an M-rated game, which means you got to be, 17 and above to get it anyway, or basically an adult to play it. Nobody's running out to start smoking that sees that in a video game. It's like, if we don't think that violence happens from video games by seeing them and participating in those games, then why would we think that smoking, like, it just seems such like a dumb thing to worry about and to go back in and kind of cut out. It just seems very soft and like a very weird kind of stance to kind of take. And I think that it really does kind of show that Microsoft is more going after a particular crowd. Let's see. Oh, Simon, he says, did my message to you earlier get you ranty crap? I'm the guy who just F the X1X off today. I'm done. See if Xbox can win me back. Dude, I'm with you. I feel like Microsoft has a lot to do. Phil Spencer takes Viagra. He says Microsoft is super woke, bro. You just found out? Listen, I am definitely finding out that a lot of Xbox fans are very much like enamored with Phil Spencer. And looking back, I guess I kind of was too, but there came a specific point where, it was just one of those things where I had to kind of get over the Phil Spencer effect. The guy is a great salesman. It's just one of those incredible things. It's just, I can't believe the way people are still, you know what I mean? I can't believe it. Like, people are just so enamored with this guy, and he's such like a snake oil salesman. And I know I joke and I call him Huckster Phil, and kind of that's gotten around and people do call him that. But when I see people go, well, wait till next year, crap. He said he held back. He was more excited about the stuff he didn't show. that makes me scratch my head because he hasn't shown anything in 5 years. So it's just buying more time and just making more excuses for this guy, where he's like got this impenetrable force field around him where nothing is his fault, right? Despite the fact that he's worked at Microsoft for what, 20 odd years, and he was the head of Xbox Game Studios before this. Like, of course it's his fault. Like, he had a hand to play in all of this, and the fact that he gets out scot-free and people act like he had nothing to do with it, I find that to be incredibly weird. Maddie Beast says you can literally chainsaw things in half, but no smoking. Maybe they should have some vaping in the game for Xbot 448. I agree. It's one of the things that I don't really understand what Microsoft is doing at this particular point. It's like, it's incredibly strange to me because this is like so different than the Microsoft that we're used to and the Microsoft that we know. So it is a bit perplexing to see that they're continuing to kind of go down this route where they just don't really want to have anything. I remember they even took out some content from Gears 4, specific lines, I think, and Run the Jewels. They had this pack that you had to pay for, and you got these characters from, I guess they're like a rap group or something. I don't know who they are specifically. I can't remember, but they said something in particular, and I guess people found it offensive. So they actually went out there and pulled the phrase that they were saying. And it was just like, I was like, oh man, is this really kind of the route that we're going for Microsoft and for Xbox, you know? I just don't understand why that's a thing, why they would have to do that. You know what I mean? Yes, I played Horizon Zero Dawn. I thought Horizon Zero Dawn had great graphics and movements, and I just thought that the story itself was a little bit boring for me personally. So, you know, that's just one of those things that I had a problem with. Like, I hope the sequel, which obviously they're making a sequel, you know, I think that it'll be even better, and hopefully the story and some of the voice acting a little bit better. Great for their first effort, though, in that kind of genre. So if you guys are just joining me, please like and share it out. I appreciate it. Clark Osborne says, crap, I'm a 50-year-old gamer. Used to have an arcade Space Invaders in my house when I was 11. You all should be grateful for the tech you all have for today. Hey, listen, man, I am grateful for the tech that I have, the ability to play video games at my fingertips. But as somebody who I consider to be very much a video game enthusiast, meaning I spend quite a bit of money on games and gaming peripherals and stuff like this, I feel like I have the right to complain a little bit. And I also have, you know, a bit of a platform here. And not, you know, not that I like want to continually complain and bitch and moan about Xbox, because I do think that they do some things okay, and I do like some of the different things that they do. But for me personally, I feel like one of the things that they're messing up with is their messaging. And again, if I had to complain about Gears, my favorite franchise, and the fact that they're not hey, what's up, Future, and evening from the UK, I appreciate UK people coming out here, is that Microsoft seems to be going very politically correct with a lot of their games. And, you know, if games are an art, which I've heard Phil Spencer say that games are an art form or whatever, then why not let the artists do what they want and stop shackling them so much, right? Like, that's the thing that I'm talking about. It doesn't make sense to shackle what these people are doing. And the other thing is, I've been arguing a lot, right? I've been arguing a lot. I don't want to say like nothing disrespectful, right? Because I have a decent following on Twitter and stuff like that. So I've been having some discussions and a little bit of arguments, maybe nothing bad from them or me. But it's just one of those things where I bring up stuff like, oh, well, this is why Microsoft is not really geared toward me anymore, and I don't understand why they're refusing to you know, gear themselves towards hardcore gamers, blah blah blah. Their sales are at an all-time low. Like, people don't understand, like, sales, while not the end all be all, you got to have enough sales to support what you're doing. And I feel like Microsoft doesn't have enough sales to support what they're doing, but people just don't care. And I think that's a bit of a problem. So when I bring up that, hey, Microsoft has like an all-time low right now, everybody's like on Phil Spencer's tip about how great he is and how he saved Xbox, but Xbox is at an all-time low in sales, Xbox consoles. I was talking, I'm sure a lot of you guys know who Brad Sams is, as we did just go over 200 people liking. Please like the video and share it out. So you guys know who Brad Sams is, therot.com, right? I've had him on Xbox Nation before. He's been around. He's an insider, but he also, you know, knows a lot about Xbox and, Windows and Microsoft, obviously. And he did a video, and I checked it out. I was actually at work on my break, and I was just like drinking some Diet Pepsi, listening to his video real quick, and he starts talking about Xbox One SAT edition, right? And he says something to me very interesting. He says, or not to me personally, but to the audience, he says Microsoft has had very big sales expectations for the SAT edition internally, right? And that to me kind of blew my mind. Like, this is the company that people think understand, they think they get it. This is the company that everybody's like, hey, Microsoft really gets it. They know, they're tuned into what gamers want. If they're so tuned into what gamers want, they would have known that pricing diskless SKU higher than the one with a disc what was a mistake. And if there's not people chomping at the bit to pay money to get a diskless SKU, like, you literally have to buy your backwards compatibility stuff. You can't just pick up a cheap game. You're forced to pay the full digital price. If you know what I'm saying? Like, it's really, there's no advantage to it. Like, you can have a disk drive and still be digital, but only use the disk drive maybe for Blu-rays or backwards compatibility stuff to keep that options free. So the fact that this thing has been an utter failure for Microsoft, right? And that surprised them. Like, was there anybody here in the chat that is surprised that the Xbox One SAT edition is an absolute and utter failure? Like, nobody's bought it, apparently. Does that surprise anybody? Like, Microsoft is super surprised that we didn't go out and get this thing. An S with no disk drive that costs more than the S with the disk drive. Yet people want to make me believe that Microsoft isn't out of touch with consumers and what they want. Like, how is that even possible? I don't understand how Microsoft can be so out of touch with these, with today's day and age of gamers, right? Like, I absolutely do not understand that, and it makes no sense to me. So to see that kind of happen kind of blows my mind, just along with the way that Phil Spencer's kind of lackadaisically says, hey, he doesn't care if we buy consoles and stuff like that. Cross Saber says, I agree with you that you complain from the point of view that Microsoft have wasted their potential. They surely could have done more and a lot more. I agree 100%. Streamer Man says the more they try, especially with not answering the phone for support, that's going to drive more people away from Xbox into the arms of PlayStation. I agree. This is one of the things that they're going to have to deal with. Hot Man says, yo, crap. Did you hear about PlayStation is making a new studio made of ex-BioWare employees? No, but I did hear about, they are in fact making they do have a San Diego studio that is actually made up of ex-Naughty Dog, and it's going to be run by someone from Naughty Dog, I guess, that is going to be head of the Uncharted series now. So there is that, and I do feel like that's going to be pretty cool for them, because we're going to be able to continue on with the Uncharted series. I would hate for that to end, to be honest with you. Just like I like Gears and God of War and Halo and those type of games. I would hate to see an end to the Uncharted series, because I like that franchise. I don't want to see an end to Halo or Gears, right? I just want to see things in addition to those games. And the fact that Microsoft kind of lacks with the content lately sort of bugs me, to the fact that we can't get any new announcements, and it's been so long, like so many years. Just kind of blows my mind that Microsoft is that tone deaf. And then you realize when I think about it, right? So I'm like, man, Microsoft sure are tone deaf. Who the hell are they listening to, right? And then you look around and you see that they have internal projections for this diskless SKU, the SAT edition, to sell gangbusters. And you realize, yes, they are in fact tone deaf, and they are out of touch with like the core consumer. Now, don't get me wrong. If people are looking forward to Xcloud, more power to you. I'm particularly not. Like, how is Xcloud and Play Anywhere and how are these things supposed to sell people on an Xbox console? Like, that's always been my point. Like, if you have, here's the thing. I love Xbox Live, right? I think Xbox Live is I feel like Xbox Live is actually superior, right? Like, Xbox Live is really, really superior to what Microsoft is trying to do. Okay, like Xbox Live is the best. Okay, but the reason why Xbox Live is the best to me was because we had a situation where we were all in the same boat. Like, yeah, maybe if you're playing on an X, you have a bit of an advantage in resolution, but you don't have an advantage in frame rate, right? We're all using a controller. Like the Xbox One controller is great. It doesn't matter if you're using an Elite controller or not. I sometimes use a regular controller when I'm playing multiplayer games, and I do exactly the same. So, that's not saying if somebody's super skilled with the Elite that they can't be better, but I'm just saying there's not a huge disparity there, right? But the thing is, what I've noticed with Xbox Live lately that I never noticed with the 360 because it didn't happen. When I played Halo or Call of Duty or Gears of War on Xbox 360, we never, ever ran into the same people over and over again when you played, right? It was not a problem. When I play my Xbox One, Call of Duty, Gears of War, what have you, I literally run into the same players over and over. These aren't my friends. You just recognize the names, right? Like, oh man, I got killed by Cock Diesel. Like that's a hard name to forget. So hey, there's Cock Diesel. 3 weeks later, there he is again. Like that is literally sort of a problem that they have, and I think that so while Xbox Live is technically the best performing online, what people don't realize that if you don't have a native console install base on Xbox per se, right? Like let's say that the Xbox Scarlet totally tanks and hardly anybody buys it. Who the hell is going to be online to play against? If we spend $500-600 on this thing and nobody else is buying it, we're going to be forced to play crossplay with PC against keyboard and mouse, which will be advantageous for them and a disadvantage for us. Or we're going to be forced to play against people who are streaming games via a tablet or a phone, maybe using touchscreen or touch controls or something, which is going to be lame either way. Like, I don't want to play against somebody that's kind of, at a disadvantage like that, where they got to use a touch screen to play. Like that, they're totally making Xbox Live uneven. And I've seen some of the cheating with the PC crossplay on like Sea of Thieves, and it really worries me about the future of Xbox. I know you might be able to disable it, but what happens when there's not a big install base on the Xbox console itself? That's something I worry about. And I think people don't see things ahead as far as I do. See, I suffer from like anxiety and some depressions and stuff like this. So I'm constantly in motion with my mind, thinking like 4 steps ahead, like, holy cow, this leads to this, this leads to this, this leads to this. And yes, I realize that not all the time the most negative thing happens, but if it is looking like the next Xbox might not be widely adopted, then I think that that's going to be a problem. I feel like that's something, that's a bit of a thing that hampers it. Rich of Cucumber says, "Hey, Crap, what's your opinion of Gears 5 after these news?" If you guys didn't know, I was already worried about Gears 5, right? Video games are art. Let people do what they want with the video games. Quit trying to force a politically correct agenda on them and just let them be fun, man. Nobody cared, Gears 1, 2, and 3. Like, these were amazing games. Halo games were originally rated M. Why are we backing off this now, right? Why are we so soft? And then we wonder why, people get their feelings hurt so often. You know what I mean? Like, one of the reasons why, and you guys might not know this, or maybe you do, like, just some of the comments that people make about me, the videos that people make about me, how that just is like I'm a duck and it's water off me. Like, why I'm called the albino rhino because I have thick skin. Like, I grew up getting made fun of. My nickname was Baby King Kong. My dad gave me that nickname. Him and my little brother used to make songs about me, like like mean songs, and it was funny. But it was like those things help you, so now it got to the point where I'm immune to all that stuff. Somebody calls me a fat ass or whatever. Like, who cares? But nowadays everybody's so soft. It's like, oh man, somebody's smoking in a video game. I guess we better outlaw that. Like, we are literally, I don't know if you guys have ever seen South Park, right? But I think one of the first episodes was the Christmas South Park episode, where everybody's so offended by the different religious aspects of the Christmas parade that they totally make it into something that everybody hates, right? Instead of just realizing that, hey, maybe if you're this way, you can enjoy it either way, or just enjoy it for what it is, but you don't have to ruin it by just saying you're so offended by everything. So everybody you have the right not to be offended. And I think that's something that a lot of people are sort of kind of losing in this modern world. And I realize that it's a much different world than it was years ago, but I also have to realize that, that's on us, right? We also, each one of us as individuals has the right not to be offended by something. And for me, like, how the hell can somebody be offended by somebody smoking in a video game or having a cigar in a video game? Like, there was never one time that I played a video game where I thought, hey, I should try that, no matter what it was, right? I play Forza. I don't go around trying to race my car at 200 miles an hour. You know, I play Call of Duty and Halo. I don't think I can be a Marine. You know, I just don't. You know, I played Grand Theft Auto. Doesn't mean I go around doing drugs and, you know, picking up prostitutes. Like, believe it or not, you know, you got to give people credit where credit's due. I think we're most of us intelligent enough not to do those type of things just on our own, you know. So so I find that to be incredibly weird to me, and just something that I really the bullets and chainsaws and blood are fine. Yes, exactly. And I don't even really care so much about the anti-smoking thing, right? Like, but it just goes to show you that Microsoft really is a certain way going forward. And you know, like I said, just let these games be the art forms that they are, and be these amazing experiences that we've come to know and love. And I feel like then at that point we'll be able to sort of you know, kind of just enjoy the game. It's like everything is so caught up in drama these days that we can't even enjoy things that we used to. You know, like, look, man, I like football. You know, a lot of people stop watching football or whatever because of something, one reason or another. People, you know, like, I never cared about that stuff, man. I'm not going to let stuff ruin my fun, you know, just because there's a little bit of drama around it. Now, I'm a little bit harder on Xbox lately because I feel like they dropped the ball, but I'm not going to like enjoy it less when there's a good game to play, right? I'm going to play Gears. I'm going to play it early because I have Ultimate Game Pass, and I'm going to try my best to, you know, I'm going to give it obviously probably a lot of benefits of the doubts, like I do, because this is my favorite franchise. So I'm hoping they don't screw it up. And the smoking thing, like, yeah, that's a little whiny baby thing to really care about, but it seems incredibly soft to me. Like, what are these people doing? You know, what is Microsoft doing? Why are they at this point where they continually just, you know, cave into pressure to do this, and this? And it doesn't make sense to me. In terms of also, you know, we haven't had any commercials for this game. We haven't had any kind of trailers for this game outside of the ones at E3, and none of the campaign has been showed off. So yeah, I do worry a little bit about it. Their day to show off the campaign is the day that it actually releases, which is a little bit of a problem, because how in the hell do you do that? You know, hey, what's up, Luke? I see you in there. Hey, like the video, share it out. Let's see. Crap, I will laugh that Gears 5 gets a better score than Death Stranding. Hey, game trailers, man. If it's a great game, man, I am going to be happy. You don't have to even try to shove anything in my face, man. I am happy. I will be happy. I like Gears of War. I want it to do well. Next Doc says, crap, I'm furious at this smoking thing. Yes, smoking is bad for you. But if Xbox is all about inclusiveness and includes smoking, what's next? Remove all representation of sugar? Well, sugar is bad, okay? So that is one of those things that we have to pay. Like, I have no idea what the hell they're thinking. Evil Earn says, crap, do you think the initiative is working on the next big Xbox game, or just split into separate teams working on smaller games? Evil, I'm actually of the mind that they are working on 2 smaller games, just per their own little blog site or whatever. You know, they've said that that's what they're doing. They've got smaller teams so they can pivot. So that's something that they, you know, I believe that they're just doing a couple of smaller teams or whatever. Let's see. The violence in Gears okay because it's violence against aliens. Area 51 raid. People start smoking because their parents or friends smoke is around them, so they try. Smoking in the game has no effect. I agree 100%. Kratos says SJWs destroyed the video game industry. Everybody's so afraid to do anything. Not only has that ingrained, what's up, the finest? Not only has that kind of stuff and mentality hurt the video game industry, but the people that are actually offended are just like these rich suits, right? Like, I ask around and you go, hey, are you offended by this? And people go, no, like, I don't know what the hell they're thinking. And then you find out that the root of this is some rich suit is like, oh, well, people might be offended by this. We better pull it. And that's how this kind of stuff happens, right? It's not even like a group of people. It's like this small minority of like super rich people are making all these decisions for us and censoring our content. And you know, it's not a good thing. It's like, I'm not saying that you should be able, there obviously what we say can have consequences, but I always feel like people should have the right to kind of say what they want. I understand that also that, free speech is like not on these platforms that are owned by these companies, because once they're that, then they're like private companies that own them, so that you have to follow their rules. So I get that as well. I'm not one of the people that beats the drum about free speech on this or that or the other, but I do think that it's kind of foolish to, like, especially like when Xbox Live changed their terms of service. How can you do that when Xbox Live was built off of this? And how do you police who's getting banned for what? Right? Like, anybody can claim somebody said this or this or this. So, like the video, guys. What's up? Almost 300 watching, or we did hit 300. I'd like to get to 100 likes. Gotham guy says, "Crap, you're a smart guy. You know good. And well, not having smoking in gears won't change people's minds come launch day. Whatever threats people make about not buying is just a paper dragon." Well, Gotham guy, here's the thing. You could be very, very right. But I have to say this, as somebody who's followed the Gears, and I bought an Xbox 360 just because I saw Gears, right? Like, I was all on board day one, man. I saw Gears. I saw Cliffy B showing off Gears on G4 TV. You guys remember that, right? They were showing it off. I had never seen anything like that. And I was so damn impressed with it. And so I got it, and I've never looked back. It's been my favorite franchise since then. Now, I do have to say this. I don't think you can just go, don't buy our game then. And then expect people, just like with what people are doing with Battlefield 5. Remember that? Like, Battlefield 5, people were like really, really just like, oh, they said they don't care if we buy their game. Guess what? It was like one of the worst selling Battlefield games of all time. You have to be careful with how you say that, or you can't just get away with whatever you want in terms of thinking that people won't vote with their wallets, right? So if you look at things, okay, look at the previous Gears of War trailers on like the Xbox YouTube or YouTube in general, and they all have like 7, 8, 9 million views. And then the trailer for Gears 5 has like 700,000 views. Like, there's a reasoning behind this, right? People, I think, are very much taking a wait and see approach with this Gears of War, and it could be fantastic. It could be the best one ever, or it could just be something that is really them trying to force feed their agenda down, your political agendas down our throats. I think political stuff has no reason to be in video games whatsoever, unless it's like some kind of weird world or whatever. But I always think that it's bad when they try to shove agendas down our throats in video games. I just want to play video games. I don't want to be caught up in your ideology on how you think I should feel about a certain subject, right? So that's how I feel. I realize not everybody's going to feel that way about it, and maybe that's getting a little deep for some of you guys, but that's just kind of how I feel about things when it comes to video games and just having that kind of stuff. Just let me make up my own choices. I just I just don't care about if they were to smoke or whatever. The game could still be fire. It could be absolutely amazing. I just feel a little bit angry at the fact that we have a situation where they don't, they're just not including it because of pressure from an organization or whatever. Like, when isn't there an organization pressuring for something these days, right? Like, I don't understand it. It just does not make sense to me. So hopefully they kind of get their act together and just realize that that stuff doesn't matter. The people that are going to play Gears are going to play Gears. I hope that it's a great game, because the Gears games, in my opinion, have been some of the better games. The last one, like I said, I thought it was a good game, right? It was a pretty good game, but looking back on it, there's obviously parts that I didn't like. Namely, I thought the characters were boring in relation to the original characters. They didn't grip me. I have no kind of feeling one way or the other towards them. Like, I didn't care about JD, Kate, or I forget the other guy's, Dell, I think his name was. Like, I didn't care about them, like any of them. They had weird tower defense setups during the campaign, which I thought were just kind of tacked on. The gear packs I didn't like. The DB bots I didn't like. So when you look at it, I thought it was a functional Gears game, but it definitely wasn't on par with like Gears 3 or something, So, I'm very clear with how I kind of think about these types of things. And for me, I think that, Gears 5 could be like the best, but hey, show off a little bit, ease people's fears a little bit. I don't know why these companies, Microsoft in particular, are so adverse to alleviating people's fears about their product. Like, they're just totally against it. Phil Spencer could just be like, hey, Fable teaser, here's this new IP that we're working on. We are working on this new AAA IP, but he never says it. They never say anything to make you feel good about their products. And after years and years, I'm off that Phil Spencer train. Like, I see it now, and I see that it's kind of funny. And I'm not knocking it, because I think I'm not knocking all Xbox fans, because I think there's great Xbox fans out there. But I do think that there's this certain group of Xbox fans that are just like a hive mind, where everything is just sunshine and roses, and everything they're doing is great. Like, I had this discussion, and this is no offense to anybody who was in part of this discussion, where we were talking about Xcloud, and people think Xcloud is going to be the next big thing for Xbox, right? And I'm like, well, remote play and game streaming and playing your games on other devices has been done before, like this entire generation. But Xbox fans, or a certain group of them, think just because Microsoft is doing it makes it going to be successful, right? It's going to be successful because Microsoft is going to do it. And what I'm saying is, just because Microsoft is doing it doesn't mean that it'll be a success. And what I mean by that is, just look at the things that Microsoft have done that have not been very successful. Like, well, hey, they did an iPad thing with the Zune, and that failed. They came out with a phone to rival Android and Apple with the Windows Phone, and that failed, right? They came out with their own Microsoft band, like an Apple Watch. That failed, right? Like, they came out with a competitor to Spotify with Groove Music. That failed. They came out with the most powerful console ever. That failed. Like, I'm not saying that it's not a great console, because it is. Like, all those products were good, right? But the problem is, there's this distaste for Microsoft around the world. Like, people just have a problem with Microsoft. They don't trust Microsoft. Microsoft wants all the rewards without actually working for the rewards. Like, they don't have that trust built up, because they change their mind every 2 days. Like, do you trust Microsoft with your games? And I don't trust Microsoft with my digital movie purchases, let alone have my games tied to them. It's very risky, and so I think Microsoft just wants to like do everything, and they don't do anything great. That's the problem. So I don't see how Xcloud is going to be a savior of Xbox. I don't see how, just like Play Anywhere, right? When I was bitching a fit about Play Anywhere, and people were making fun of me and saying I was stupid, and we were going to have so many games, so many exclusives because of this, right? This is what I got told, right? We so many exclusives, it's going to be crazy how many exclusives we have. Crap, you're making a big mistake here. Like, we're going to have so many exclusives, and I'm not making fun of anybody with that voice, by the way. That's just the voice that I use. I swear to God, it's not like making fun of anybody, but because I wasn't even having this conversation with anybody in particular, then I don't even remember. It was like people that I don't even have on my friends list anymore. But everybody was like, you're crazy, Crap. It doesn't matter. We're going to get so many games. And we literally got nothing out of Play Anywhere, except lost all of our exclusive games. Like, we literally got nothing out of that. Microsoft gained nothing out of that. Quantum Break sold like piss water. Gears of War Judgment, Gears of War 5 or 4 sold like piss water. These games did not sell well on Windows, on PC. They've got literally nothing out of them. Nothing. And this is the same stuff with this Xcloud stuff. It looks good on the back of the box. It looks like something Microsoft will have as a speaking point. But at the end of the day, the majority of people aren't going to care. They might use it, and then, unfortunately, you're going to be tied to a user the minute you do, and they're going to tout that number if it's high, or they're not going to talk about it at all if it's low, And, you're not a different monthly active user if you're already somebody that has an Xbox and you have a library, and then you stream using their service. You're not a new user, so their user numbers aren't going to go up. But I don't look at that as a reason to buy an Xbox, right? I don't look at Xcloud as a reason to buy an Xcloud. Phil Spencer takes Viagra. He says Mooch isn't here to complain. Harmonica solo time. You know what? I might do that. Hey, if we can get 100 likes, man, I'll give us a little bit more harmonica. I would definitely love to break out that baby. That was for my boy Mooch. That's right. Matty B says still have a broken dashboard, but Xcloud's going to be great. Dude, I do not trust Xcloud. That dashboard is nonsense. You got, hey, look, like I'm literally looking at Aaron Greenberg tweeting in exile about Bard's Tale 4 Director's Cut, how it's going to be August 27th, launch on Xbox Game Pass. Are you guys serious? Bard's Tale 4 Director's Cut. Yeah. How many of you guys are excited for Bard's Tale 4? Are you guys having a, are you guys excited for Bard's Tale 4? AJ Felton, what's up, my friend? Yeah, like this is the problem, right? Like nobody cares about these games that Microsoft has, right? And Exile is one of those iffy studios that I really don't care about. And I don't think most people care about that studio, but it's like, holy crap, like Bard's Tale, and we've got, Wasteland, and, like we've got these developers that just were on their last leg and that nobody cared about, and people go around treating them as if like they're this huge deal. So one of the things that I thought was funny was Xbox fans have different, well, some of them, I'm general. Like when you say Xbox has no games, you don't really mean Xbox has no games. You mean Xbox has no new like AAA exclusives and stuff like that. That's what I mean when I say that anyway. Obviously, I mean, they got over 800 games on there, but a lot of the times I just feel like there's nothing new or inventive to play because it's like been there, done that. Assassin's Creed, another one. A Madden, another one. I would really just like some new stuff. And that's why I felt like playing PlayStation has been such a breath of fresh air lately, because a lot of their exclusives are like unique and take full advantage of what they're trying to do with their hardware. And I absolutely love that and think it's really cool. So I feel like Microsoft needs to kind of go out there and do that as well. Rich says, hey, Crap, I'm asking you the question for real. Do you think Xcloud will take off to this new thing? No, I don't. I think Xcloud is going to be a tremendous failure. Look, in my opinion, okay, this is strictly in my opinion, right? Like, I don't know. I haven't been to the future, so I don't know for sure. I can tell you this. Nobody, like the hype level for Stadia is 0.0. And the hype level for Stadia or for Xcloud is 0.0. The only people that even show the faint excitement for Xcloud are ones that probably aren't even ever going to use it. They're just hyping it because it's an Xbox thing, right? And so I feel like there's no real excitement for this kind of thing. I feel like, and I think Matt Priscatella tweeted out something earlier today that I found to be incredibly thought-provoking about subscription services, right? And if I could find that, I think I will. I'll actually kind of share that with you guys. But what he was talking about, I found to be just very, very much interesting and sort of what, he's very much into, like, because he works for the MPD, or he's in the MPD. So he kind of gets it, and he understands what people want to hear in terms of like breaking it down and stuff like that. So I think that that's one of the things. So here's what he had to say, right? And this was a tweet that he made, I think, yesterday. He said the 49% of American video game players that exclusively play free-to-play games and spend exactly $0 are likely to continue exclusively playing free-to-play games and spend $0, regardless of expanding streaming services. So he's basically saying that, just like what I've been saying, like these casual gamers that play free-to-play games and don't spend any money on a phone or whatever, they're not going to be tempted to pay a service fee to Microsoft to play quote-unquote console quality games. Like they want to play their Candy Crushes and this kind of stuff, and they're not going to pay like an insane amount to stream some games on their phone. Like that's not going to happen. And I kind of tend to think this way too. So I do think that it's a decent little option, but it's nothing more than that. It's not like something that's going to quote unquote save Xbox, right? Like, I don't think Xbox needs saving because, again, the big argument that I hear from Xbox fans is Microsoft makes money, right? And Microsoft do make money, okay? They do, but they're not making money. Nobody's buying their console anymore. 1.5 million in terms of that's exactly what they've made or what they've sold this year worldwide, right? That's worldwide, not just US, but worldwide. 1.5 million Xbox One sold. That is very, 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 very low. And so when you look at when you see that they have their internal projections for the SAT edition being so high, I cannot believe that they would even have the SAT edition marked at being that high, right? So as more and more you guys join in here, please like this video and share it out. I certainly do appreciate it. I think the world of you guys. I like doing these videos when I have the chance. I know I got a podcast later today, but I'm probably not going to be around much. I'm not sure there's going to be an M&C Sunday because Sully is rebuilding his computer. Like something happened to his computer, so there might not be any live streams this weekend. So I figured, hey, might as well get one in this Friday. Plus, I got some plans and stuff like that. So yeah, I like doing these type of things, and I know it's kind of the summer doldrums and stuff like that, but one of the things I like to do is answer the questions, and I feel like I make you guys part of the show when I do these live streams by answering as many questions as I can, and I feel like that's really cool. I'm not sure. Don't call me. What's your source? I'm not sure what which one you're saying. Sir X Baron. He says, Crap, let me tell you what's going to kill Xbox next gen. Sony's going to reach back to their catalog since the PS1 and remake those games that everyone loves, and it'll kill Microsoft. Watch it happen. Look, if you want my take on next gen, it's going to be bad. Phil Spencer takes Viagra, says, I can't wait to play Bard's Tale 4 through Xcloud on my smart fridge. Hey, I'm right there with you, man. I want my smart toilet paper roll as well, where I can access my games. Why stop at 2 billion? I tweeted at Phil Spencer that he should make kitten mittens for that are controllers for cats, right? That way, think of all the cats that could play video games, and those monthly active user numbers could go through the roof. For me personally, I feel like Microsoft is trying to get this. The Xbox is going third party eventually. They might go third party 2-3 years into next gen. Okay, so about the time when I figure Stadia will cease production, and if you want a prediction of what I think the Xbox Scarlet will sell, I think it's going to sell less than 20 million. One typical Latino says, listening while playing Dying Light, good game. I hear great things about it. Creole Frenchie says, VR AAA only on PS ecosystem. Next gen Game Pass plus PS5. I agree. Yes, Rich. I had a long discussion against others on Twitter. Yeah, you know what? Here's the thing, though, man. I keep it respectful. Like, I have not taken shots at anybody on Twitter. I just have like long discussions with people, right? Like, they feel differently, or they might use Game Pass. Like, for me personally, okay, I took a trip to North Carolina the other day, a car trip, right? And I didn't drive. I was just a passenger. And I took my Switch and my 3DS and my Vita, and I thought, I'll get some quality time in playing these games. I think I played for like 20 minutes total, right? It just like on the go, it's not my thing. And I know that it's not a lot of people's thing. And I know some people will use it. And I think that's cool. But I don't think this is something that's going to suddenly spike Microsoft to reach 2 billion gamers because they can stream The Witcher 3 to a phone at a price. Like, I don't think that's going to happen. Hey, everybody hit the like button. I would really appreciate, I appreciate it. Maybe we can get over 100. I would appreciate that very much. If you subscribe to Game Pass, don't call me, says, and you're supporting exactly what Microsoft wants. Well, here's the thing, right? I really do think that that Microsoft has an agenda. They want, Game Pass. The reason why, I can tell you why I did the Game Pass stuff, right? So what I did was I had Xbox Live Gold to 2022, okay? Just because sometimes people give it to me as a gift or whatever, and then I just had it stacked on there. So I was good with gold for a while. They did a thing where you can upgrade for $1 for your remaining gold. So that's why I did it. I actually, for me, even if Gears turns out to be bad, Gears 5 turns out to be bad, I am set because I didn't have to pay money for that game, right? Like, they upgraded me for $1. It was only $1 more. I was already paid up on gold. So I got tired of paying $40 to $60 for very, very average to below average Xbox exclusives. I got to be honest with you, right? They stung me with Crackdown 3. They stung me with State of Decay 2, which I got the collector's edition because I was really having high hopes for that game. Mooch makes fun of it. I got the stupid mask and all that kind of dumb stuff, and that game sucks. Sea of Thieves, that game had like no content. It's fun with your friends, you get drunk or whatever, you're having fun because it's chill. It's fun in that way, but as an actual video game, it's just lackluster, and no nothing to do. Like, if you're playing by yourself, you're gonna have the worst time ever in a video game. Recore, just terrible game. Like, our games have been so bad lately, and I just get tired of spending money on them. And I buy almost everything, so I get tired of spending money on these games, and they're so terrible. And so that's why I have Game Pass Ultimate, because then I don't have to worry about it, and I can just play them. And if they're good, I can still buy them. If they stink, then, you know, I can just kind of dump them and not worry about it. And that's kind of how I'm looking at it just going forward, because I got to say, I don't believe in Xbox. I don't believe that, I just don't believe in it. Hold on. Rich says, hey, Crap, you said the other day that Microsoft ain't making deals with other third parties, but Microsoft made a Cyberpunk marketing deal for this E3. But, Rich, here's the thing. Microsoft makes these deals with these companies, and they're only showing off their gameplay, their logo at the end. What I mean by that is there's no exclusive time content. Like, if you get, here's the thing. They're releasing a new Batman Arkham collection of the 3 Rocksteady games on Xbox and PlayStation. PlayStation gets exclusive outfits and stuff, right? Like, that's still something, you know, like that'd be a reason to get that on PlayStation, because bat suits and stuff are cool. You know, if you buy Control on PlayStation 4, you get exclusive content. You get like exclusive missions and stuff. Like, that's cool. Microsoft will never buy exclusive missions or maps or a skin. They will never buy that stuff and give it to their gamers, because they don't give a crap, you know, like Phil says, well, we don't really believe in this, but, you know, it's just one of those things that just kind of pisses me off, because when you don't get these kind of things for your fans, then the competition will, you know. And I mentioned this earlier on Twitter. Microsoft got bullied so bad by Sony this generation that they pivoted their entire direction and basically left the console space almost, right? Like, they don't even really much mention console anymore. They canceled the Lockhart. They're going to do one main console at a really absurd price. I'm sure it's going to be between $500 and $600. And then they're going to do a streaming console that's probably going to be $199, $179, $199. I know people are going around saying it's going to be $100, but I don't see it. Controller alone is you know, $60 to $80. So and we thought the SAT edition was going to be $150, and it ended up being $250. So mark my words, if they do have a streaming device, it's definitely going to be $179 to $199, and it's still going to be, you know, $300 to $400 cheaper than the Scarlet. And, you know, you're going to need more than just Halo and a Forza to kind of sell those games to people, right? Like, we've already had that. Like, this is what I say to people. Microsoft blew their biggest chance ever at doing something great at this past E3. You could have got people excited for the entire year, showing off great new content, right? I know it's a little bit early, but you already announced your console, which is killing your sales anyway, unless there's other reasons as well. I mean, their sales already weren't lighting it up, but you're in dead last. I mean, at this point, if Soulja Boy was still releasing his consoles, there's a chance that thing could outsell the Xbox One this year, right? I mean, 1.5 million. Mooch and Crap could put out a console that could do that. You know, so for me personally, I just think that it's, you know, Microsoft blew a big opportunity to have great content shown off and get people excited, because Sony wasn't going to do anything this year, and you could have got people excited for the entire year. Instead, you took the chump way out and played it very safe and didn't show anything new. And now, you know, we're going to have to wait an entire year to see anything. And that's if they have anything, or if they decide to show anything, because a lot of their studios are definitely still busy working on you know, on multi-plat. So that's the truth. Let's see. Rich of Cucumber says it's great that Lockhart is dead already, because that will hold other consoles back. Hey, I agree. Greg E3 says, Crap Gamer, it seems that Microsoft gave up on the Xbox around 2015, 2016, when they seen the sales figures forming a huge gulf between Xbox and PlayStation. Here's the thing, right? And I don't understand this. If you're a huge Xbox fan, and I don't know how many of you still watch me, or Holomoko says, Crap, sign the contract. Dude, I've already had Kratos on my podcast Wednesday, man. He did great. But this is the thing. If you're a huge Xbox fan and you're watching me right now in the chat, tell me, what is there to be excited about Xbox going forward? Keeping in mind the things that I'm talking about, right? Like the studios that they have, it looks like most of them are stuck doing third-party multi-platform games for at least the next couple of years. So you're looking at not getting probably anything new till at least 2022, 2023. So what is there to be super excited about that's going to push Xbox sales, right? I just think that there's not a lot to be excited about. I would love to hear what people think of in terms of what is there to be excited about Xbox for right now. Like streaming, play anywhere. Like nobody cares about this stuff. And when I say nobody, I clearly know that there's people that might, but the majority doesn't. So, you know, I just don't think. Mr. Twister says, what will Microsoft do when Sony shows new AAA next E3? By then, Death Stranding, Last of Us 2 will be out, maybe even Ghost of Tsushima. Sony will drop bombs, you know it. This was my point going into this 3, guys, and you guys are very smart. AJ Felton says, make sure you get Kratos back on your show when that Shady dude returns, please. I'm working on it, right? Like, I was hoping Shady would have been there this week, but I was really looking forward to seeing that. Like, I like the contrast, and Kratos is a really good guy. He's a PlayStation guy, but the funny thing is, he was an Xbox 360 fan, right? The guy was a huge Xbox 360 fanboy, and Microsoft really just kind of let him down the way that they let a lot of people down. And I'm seeing more and more people go, and I know people go, oh, you're full of it, crap. More and more people are like, what's the point in even owning an Xbox right now? So that's the truth of the, that's the truth of it. Let's see. Fans care more about money than games, but you're talking about sales. LG Nemesis, me. Listen, sales matter in terms of if you're going to have good competition to play against on that console, right? If nobody's buying your console, who are you going to play against? That's my point, right? Like sales matter. You got to be able to keep your console going. The fans that I've been arguing with or having discussions with, quote unquote, are the ones that are saying, well, who cares? Sales might be next to nothing, but Microsoft's still making money. Like, how does that help? That's my point. I don't care about the money at all. I think that it matters that you have to have a certain amount of your console out there, because I don't think they make a ton off the console itself, but it's important to have people buy your console to keep your ecosystem thriving, right? Like that's the point that I'm trying to make. Please hit the like button as you guys come in here and share it out. I'd appreciate it. Fun Creator says, funny thing is before Xbox One reveal, everyone thought it's a game over for the next PlayStation, but Microsoft screwed up. Yeah, they screwed up pretty badly. Maverick says, crap, Sony is going into the next gen with games that will be able to be played on PS5, which means it doesn't even need as many launch titles. If, let's see, if Ghost of Tsushima, Death Stranding, and Final Fantasy VII, for example, will be more than enough to punch. Hold on, Mr. Twister. You dissed my question. Hold on. I didn't miss it. You said, oh, yeah, hold on. What will Microsoft do when Sony shows new AAA next E3? I think that Microsoft is going to be kind of screwed because Microsoft is probably holding back Fable. They're like, oh, we got a Fable and we've got another Forza and we're going to show off Halo. That's going to be enough. But I feel like those weren't enough this generation. Like we didn't get a Fable, but you know, Gears and Halo weren't enough. Hell, we even had a Tomb Raider that was exclusive and Dead Rising, and you know what I mean. And those weren't enough. So I think Microsoft, no matter what they show, they're about to be outclassed by Sony because that's what Sony does. You know, Sony absolutely goes out there and does it. Rich says, Brad Sam says, there will be a $50 stream box. Why do you disagree on that? I think that there could be a stream box. I just think that it has to come with a controller, dude. And I think that the controllers are between $60 and $80 by themselves. And since this thing will have to have some kind of, like I was looking up some of the Apple TVs and stuff, and those things are like 150, $200. So I don't see why Microsoft would, if this thing has to do some kind of computation, like I'd feel like this is something that Microsoft would charge 179 to $200 for. So, Simon Brandy, exactly my point. Microsoft making money without trying. No wonder they can't be arsed. Teach them a lesson. Exactly my point. Sir X-Man says, this is my new saying. Microsoft let the Japanese win again. I feel like Microsoft has no pride in America anymore. Listen, Microsoft probably would be the first to agree with that, right? Like, I just feel like Microsoft does not, Microsoft just doesn't care about winning, you know? They honestly just do not care. Like Phil Spencer, he might go, well, we're in it to win it or whatever. But at the end of the day, do they really care? I don't think that they do. You know, that's just something that I feel like they honestly do not care about winning. They don't care about beating Sony. They don't care about any of that stuff. You know, that's very unfortunate, but that's just the way, like how I kind of look at it as well. Gears tattoo removal money. Oh man, like this is a big ass tattoo, Maddie. It'd be hard to do that. Maybe, you know what I can do? I can probably get a cigarette added to this guy and where he's got a cigarette hanging out of his mouth on my Crimson Omen. But yeah, that is, I was super sad to see that kind of happen. You know, like Microsoft is totally kind of going this kind of wimpy route, and that's not what Xbox is all about, man. When I first was playing Xbox, guys, it was like, even with Xbox 360, what you picked your set that you were in, right? Like you were underground or whatever, right? And you know, you were hardcore. And now it's just like Microsoft is just so wimpy, and they just don't care. You know, they obviously just don't care about what their fans care about, and they're out of touch again. And I bring it up, if you are just tuning in, please hit the like button, share it out. But I'll bring it up because I talked about this earlier just a little bit. But Brad Sams did a video about the Xbox One SAT Edition, which, as you guys know, is a diskless console. And this diskless console, we all knew was going to fail miserably. It was priced way too high. And who's going to buy a more expensive diskless console when you can buy a disc console for less money, right? But apparently, internally, according to Brad Sams, Microsoft had super high expectations for this console. Like, they thought it was going to go gangbusters and just absolutely sell like a ton of copies, tons of these units, right? And then it's sold next to nothing. So that goes to show you how out of touch Microsoft is with people. Like, they thought that this thing was going to light it up. They think that Xcloud is going to light it up. They thought that Play Anywhere was going to light it up. They thought that big announcements were Super Lucky's Tale and Disneyland Adventures and Scream Ride. And, you know, like, they don't get it. Like, I don't understand. I know people are like, give Phil some more time. But I look around and I see, well, hey, you know, Phil, we've given Phil 5 years. He's been the head of Xbox Game Studios for before that point. At what point do we say, okay, well, enough's enough? Maybe Xbox should go in a slightly different direction, because they're clearly not actually going, you know, they're clearly not going in a direction that most of us kind of want, you know, as just hardcore console fans. No Russian says Microsoft is wimpy. That's why Phil Spencer is perfect for the job. Microsoft, cheap games at a cheap price. That's my worry about that's my worry about you know, Game Pass in general. So Game Pass, Jersey Finest says, what crap crying about now? I am crying about whatever I want, really. Game Pass, the main thing that Game Pass has done, well, I think it's a really good value for people, right? Like, I think it's a really good thing in terms of value, but I think Game Pass has killed the quality of the exclusives, for one thing. Just look at the exclusives we've gotten since Game Pass has come out. Now, if Gear somehow tanks and scores below an 80, like, that would be the worst thing of all. It would really mean truly that they're just getting games out for Game Pass sake and Game Pass sake alone, right? So we've gotten really crummy games, exclusives because of Game Pass, in my opinion, and games with gold, which sometimes used to be at least okay. You know, we get lackluster ones. I think we've gotten one AAA game since Game Pass has come out, right? That's it. One AAA game. And most of the games that Sony gets as PlayStation Plus to their subscribers, those games come out on Game Pass instead of games with gold now. So we get these weird little, like, 8-bit games instead of like anything decent. BK Beds guy says Final Fantasy VII going to be huge. Yeah, it's going to be huge on PlayStation. They confirmed that Xbox isn't getting that game. So yeah, if you guys Rich says, be careful, crap. If you get caught smoking, Phil Spencer might block you. Probably. Fun Creator says Phil's a slow bloomer. I guess so. Evil Earn says my daughter loves Disneyland Adventures, and I think that's probably the point. But to the person that bought into the Xbox ecosystem for Gears and Rated M Halo and you know, these games that we grew up with, I think that's you know, kind of a stark contrast to what we're used to. Maverick says, crap, to make matters worse, Microsoft put its marketing brunt into games that simply failed to hit the targeted audience. Anthem, for example, Sony replacing buttons debacle doesn't look so bad now. Yeah, they marketed Anthem. They marketed Witcher 3, which the developer of The Witcher 3 made fun of the Xbox before this game even came out. So there was that. You know, you had like the lesser resolution in versions of the games. You guys remember Evolve? Microsoft put a heavy marketing campaign behind that. Yeah. EDM Gamer says, I used to think of Xbox as a place for multiplats, but now PC is the best main place for best looking multiplats. If you have a capable PC, then absolutely right, EDM. I think that's a good point. Microsoft, I feel like, is trying to transition people to PC anyway, right? They're really trying to get you onto the PC. onto a streaming device. I feel like, in my opinion, and I know people like to record these things and screenshot what I say, within 3 years of the Scarlet coming out, Microsoft will be publishing first-party games on PlayStation 5. Lock it in. Like, they'll still make a console, but at that point, the Scarlet would have only sold probably 10 million, 15 million copy or 15 million units within 3 years. It'll be looked at as a huge failure, and they're gonna look to pivot again. So I brought this up and had a discussion with Jez Gordon this morning about this. I was like, Microsoft really pivoted what they were doing because Sony was spanking the crap out of them, right? Like, they pivoted. If Microsoft would have been winning, if Microsoft were the ones to have 100 million consoles sold right now and 40 million paying Xbox Live subscribers, the way that Sony has 40 million PlayStation Plus subscribers, they would be bragging about it all the time. And everybody knows it. The reason why they're not talking about it is because they're getting spanked. Look, the Switch, it just came out, but they talk their numbers. The only ones that doesn't talk their numbers are Microsoft. So that's incredibly telling right there. Let's see. Do you think Quantum Break would have been better if it stuck with the original concept when they first showed it? I don't know. It's possible, but yeah, I'm not really sure. Do you think Xbox will become another ET game? No, look, Xbox console. Like, when I say Xbox, I don't mean Microsoft's version of Xbox, which is cloud gaming and pooping while you play a game and, playing it on your watch and your phone. And Xbox to me is a freaking console. It's a console. Halamoko says, will the stream box just be modified Xbox One SAD, change the shell, but keep the MB with more stream power? Microsoft wants to keep reselling the Xbox One. You know what they're doing, Halamoko? And I saw this in Brad Sam's video as well. The Xbox One S's, the motherboards, those are being put into their data centers for their cloud, for Xcloud, right? They're not using the X, they're using the S Cloud ones, which I think the S ones are the same ones that are in the SAD edition. So those are actually the cloud ones. You know what I mean? I'm kind of shocked that we didn't hear about Resident Evil 3 remake from Capcom. Could be, yeah, motherboard. I got you, Halamoko. The motherboard from the S is going into the into the actual the Xcloud stuff. So there is kind of that you have to kind of pay attention to as well. So, that's just one of those things that in my personal taste, it's kind of telling as well. They've got this surplus of these S motherboards, and it's not really helping their cause either. So I feel like Microsoft has a long way to go and with what they offer fans and stuff like that, if they really want to continue to sort of compete or do anything like that. Griff says, thank you, Crapkeeper 100. Joe Rodriguez says, what about the Mad Box? Heard anything of late? I heard that the backers were backing out of that. Ermi says, crap, thoughts on Switch Lite? You never think Nintendo will go after power like Sony, Microsoft? Why would Nintendo go after power when they can beat Microsoft with doing what they're doing? Now, the Switch Lite is an interesting thing because the whole point of the Switch, in my opinion, was you switched. You could take it on the go. You could play it on your TV. This is just them replacing the 3DS, which kind of sucks because I love the 3DS. I like the clamshell. It protects the screen. But I'm going to be honest with you. A lot of people play the Switch just for the handheld stuff. This is going to appeal to that type of gamer. They're going to sell millions of this. Like Sony, Nintendo is always finds that little niche of people, and they love their games. They have great first-party content, and that's exactly why they keep doing what they're doing. So Rich says, hey, Crap, have you seen Crackdown 3's online multiplayer? Couldn't get into a game. You're not alone. I've tried numerous times to play the Crackdown 3 multiplayer. I can't get into a game. Nobody's playing this game online. It just released. It was their Power of the Cloud, all this kind of BS. I got into a lobby one time with 2 other people, and it's like waiting for more people. And then after a little bit, it just disconnected and then went back to the original start screen. So, yeah, nobody's playing that game online. Complete failure. That's why when they're testing this game on Xcloud, it's just the campaign only. It's just another failure in a long line of Xbox failures this generation. I actually want Microsoft to apologize to fans, right? Like Phil Spencer, get out there and apologize to fans for stopping game creation. Because think about this. I know people go, "Oh, I'm happy with Xbox," but think about this for a second. Just hear me out as I tell this. so many people are okay with Xbox right now, right? They just forgive Xbox. They say, wait till next year, wait till next year. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. Why do we forgive a company that released a new console at the end of 2013 and stopped creating new AAA IP in 2015, right? They literally stopped creation of new AAA IP a year and a half into this generation, and people are just okay with that. Like, that never ceases to boggle my mind in ways that I can't even explain, and pisses me off as well. How can we be okay with that as fans? Imagine that, right? We just bought this $500 console, despite the fact that they tried to shove DRM down our throats and all this BS, right? And then they just stopped creating games. I would have loved to have been a fly on the wall to see how close they were to going out of business or getting rid of the Xbox brand altogether, because I bet they were so damn close, like a dog's hair close, right? Because they stopped creating games. Like, how do you stop creating games for people who spent 500 hard-earned bucks on your console? I do not understand that. Like, what were they thinking when they did that? Like, I don't understand it. I don't see how they could do that. I don't see how fans can be okay with that and just be okay with saying, well, wait till next year, or, you know, wait another 3 years. Because this is another thing where people go, making games take time. And I go, well, you know, we've already waited 4 years for a new game, a new IP. How many more years do we got to wait? 3, 4, 5? So at the end of the day, we're waiting, 10 years. Like, it's ridiculous. It's completely ridiculous that we have to wait this long as consumers. And then people bitch at me because I'm complaining and I'm upset and pissed off. It just kind of is what it is. Like, I am pissed off. And the reason why I'm pissed off is because I spent my hard-earned money on something that obviously Microsoft doesn't give two craps about anymore. So yeah, it is something that I'm pissed off about, and I share that. I'm very passionate about video games, and I continue to be. Dual Purpose says, I feel you. I think the same thing. Hey, almost 370 watching. Please hit the like button. Maybe we can get up to 150. I would certainly appreciate that. Out here pouring my heart out for you folks. I would really appreciate it if you guys could do that for me, and just share it out. If you haven't already, hit the bell. If you haven't already done so, that's super important as well, so you get notified of the content as soon as it comes out. I do a lot of what I can. I'm also in the midst of since summer is usually slow for video games, I've got a camera. I'm splicing some footage and some new videos and stuff like that. I kind of a new style, changing some things around. I brought in Kratos. I'm going to bring in new guests and stuff like that on the podcast on Wednesday. We're amping up new stuff on M&C. I feel very creative in times when there's not a whole lot of news going on. So, I really do appreciate you guys kind of supporting and coming out, especially when I do just a sort of a run-of-the-mill podcast like this, just out of the blue, because I feel like it's very, very important. So if you guys didn't know also, like, Microsoft, like, I'm looking on M4G, and they've got, like, a lot of the stories are them. Like, Microsoft Gears 5 will eliminate smoking depictions. Like, that's a new hot one. In Exile, Microsoft trusts us. We're making Wasteland 3 better than we would have been able to by ourselves. So it's nice to see that Microsoft is paying In Exile to make Wasteland 3 a better game for PS4 owners. How about that, right? Way to go, Microsoft. You guys really are great. Same thing with stuff like Bard's Tale. Like, nobody cares about that damn game. Or, like Outer Worlds. Like, I'm sure that game's going to be fine, but that's not like a huge thing for Xbox because it's not an exclusive. It's not something that's going to take full advantage of the Xbox. Like, nothing that would have been a great game had it been an exclusive. Look at something even like Psychonauts, right? That already got delayed, so Microsoft is pumping more money into that title. And the reason why is because they were probably afraid that it was going to score super poorly on Metacritic. So I know everybody's like, Metacritic doesn't matter, but when you look at your first-party output and it's all 60 rated games, I think it matters a little bit, because you got to have some kind of quality. Who's going to subscribe to Netflix if all the shows are super poorly rated? You got to have great content. That's exactly what you got to have. You got to have extremely great content. Rundes says, big fan of Crap 2.0. I appreciate it. Albert G says, how frustrated do you really get when you debate with someone that doesn't care about great game quality on your podcast? And do you ever think you go too far in a debate? I don't do that. Like, I can argue with somebody, but I always respect the people that are there. I've already apologized and sort of bygones be bygones with people that I had beef with. So I don't really worry about that. I don't get personal with people. We have differences of opinions, but I respect their opinions just as long as they respect mine. So that's sort of how that works. Maverick says, crap, ask MLB and Mystic to join the podcast. I asked MLB. He doesn't do collaborations or podcasts, though, unfortunately. So Ermi says, you can have different opinions. You don't need to hate the human being who is Crapgamer Reviews. I think people behind social media forget we all human. This is a good point. I think I can take it. I could take it pretty good, though. Like, here's the thing about me nowadays. Like, how I am right now, I'm not going to sit there and be a doormat for people, but I don't want to go out there actively seeking to engage with people and beef with people and argue with people because I've got much better things to do. But I'm through the point where I'm just going to sit back and take crap. So many people over the years have just given me crap, and I just don't really, I'm over that part. So I'm not going to let people just kind of rake me over the coals anymore. But I'm also going to be able to, I did say that I would do harmonica, and if I hit 150, we get a little bit more. I got the Xbox blues. Which I'm also, guys, I don't know if you guys like merchandise, and I thought, most of you guys like probably buy let's see. Steve says, crap, if you hit 100 likes, will you show your boobs? I don't know, man. My C cup's not really, people really want to, Maverick, Saturn, MBG, Muscle Bound Gamer. Yeah, I actually messaged him on Twitter. I had messaged him before to be on BGST years ago, and apparently he doesn't do collaborations or any podcast whatsoever. So that's going to be kind of a no-go, unfortunately. But, I'm going to continue to kind of do my thing and see what can, see who I can get out there that's a little bit different from the same old, like not everybody agreeing with each other and stuff like that, because I feel like that can get kind of stale. So I'm always looking for people, interesting people to do the show with. Maybe you guys know people, let me know in the comments and stuff like that. The Xbox Blues, that's right. Crap, don't forget the best exclusive for Xbox. It's Xbox Body Wash. You know what the best exclusive for Xbox is? The waiting game, right? Congratulations, because that's all we play as Xbox fans is the freaking waiting game. We sit there and wait. We say wait till next year. But anyway, I wanted to talk about some merchandise that I'm designing. Like, some of you guys might be interested. So I had this design idea in mind for Xbox, and it's going to say, just wait till E3, and there's going to be like 2015 with a line across it, 2016 with a line across it, 2017 with a line across it. You get where I'm going with it, and then it's going to say 2020 like at the top or something. Like kind of like how the Cleveland Browns have that that jersey going around with all their starting quarterbacks on the back, and it's like this huge like thing. It's funny. Like, I thought it'd be really funny. It's like, just wait till E3. And then another one, because everybody goes, Xbox will be fine, right? That's another one that I hear about. And then the other one is, who cares about console sales? Xbox makes money, right? Like, Microsoft makes money, something along those lines. So I had a few shirt ideas, kind of tongue in cheek, funny. I think that those would probably, people would like those. I think that, especially the E3 one, if I could get somebody to wear one of those to E3 next year and like meet Phil or something, or take a picture with Phil, I think that would be like the ultimate like funny thing to me, like hilarious. And I know a lot of people probably wouldn't think it'd be hilarious, but to me personally, that would be hilarious as hell, Browns are loaded, crap nervous. I hear it. Hey man, I'm not nervous about that. The Browns, are you serious? No. Wait till E3 20XX. Yeah, dude, 2024, man, we're going to be set. We're going to be set. The last one needs to be wait for next gen. Well, we're already waiting for next gen. Exactly, said Mac. Here, take my money. I need that shirt. Exactly. That's what I'm talking about. Like, listen, I have great ideas. We just got to get them done, man. If you guys hit the like button, I would appreciate that very, very much. Yeah, so it looks like, it looks like Microsoft, in terms of what they're doing, isn't something that I'm going to be actively excited about, right? Like, just being honest, I'm very much looking forward to the PS5. I usually buy all the consoles sort of at launch just because that's what I do. I kind of like the new hotness or whatever, but I feel like this time around, Microsoft is going to absolutely need something to showcase their console and what it does, and to get me excited and get me on board with it. So unlike previous consoles or whatever, I feel like this is something that Microsoft has to do to to get me on board with them for the first time in the history, right? Like they sold me an original Xbox, right? They sold me an original Xbox with when they did a Halo one and it's green. They sold me Xbox 360. They sold me an Xbox 360 Star Wars. They sold me an Xbox 360 S and E. You know, I bought so many damn Xbox 360s, I think like 8 or 9. Not because they broke, but because I collect stuff and they had really kick-ass. Remember when Microsoft used to do really kick-ass collector's edition consoles? Star Wars, Resident Evil 5. You know, they did the Halo ones, the Forza. They did amazing. Gears. They did a couple of Gears ones. Halo Reach, Halo 4. They did some amazing custom consoles that I actually have some of those. And you know, now with the Xbox One, they don't do it. They give them away. Like they make 2 and they're awesome. And then they give them away if you retweet. Like, great. You know, I can't wait to retweet this. So, you know, it's it's just absolutely incredible to me how far Microsoft has fallen. Hold on. I guarantee you, crap, that Gears of War 6 will not have guns to shoot with. It's too offensive. Didn't Microsoft take out the gun emoji from their thing or whatever, or somebody did that, right? Like it's a water gun now or something. Absolutely. Like, you know, as if, you know, here's the thing, right? Like our parents, or maybe, I don't know how old you guys are, but like my parents grew up watching John Wayne and cowboy shows and Wild West shows and, you know, people shooting up stuff, and they didn't go around doing anything. We grew up playing video games and we're not doing anything. There's mental health problems and people get that, and I get that, but I feel like video games get a bad rap. Like I'm looking at this Gears of War thing, right? And now this story is popping up on all the different sites. So here's one of the headlines: Gears of War 5 smoking not happening. Marcus needs to set a good example. So I do find that incredibly funny. Like this is a big news story today because obviously news is slow or whatever. But the fact that there's no not only is there no commercials, no gameplay, no smoking. That's their ad right there, right? We're Xbox, and we don't believe in advertising. We don't believe in commercials. We don't believe in showing gameplay, and we don't believe in our characters lighting up stogies. You know, like there's so many different things that you guys could have done. You know, it's so weird that this is this is bad. This is really bad. Like I don't understand it. Like I understand like with the whole thing where you don't want younger people to smoke, but younger people can't even play the game. Like what the hell are they thinking? I don't understand it. It makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. So happy Microsoft makes a lot of money. Wish that was me. I'm with you, Maddie. I wish you 100% right there. What crime rate in the country was higher in the 80s before these realistic violent shooters existed? Exactly. Maddie says, I find a lot of irony in a youth organization calling for no smoking in a game not made for use. Yeah, this is exactly it, right? Like, I don't know what I'm going to do if Gears of War is ends up stinking, right? Like if Gears of War ends up stinking or isn't up to snuff, I'm not sure exactly what to say. Like I feel like they'll have to reboot it and bring back you know, some of the original, bring back the, you know, maybe the Pendulum Wars, or do something like an offshoot, like alternate timeline with Marcus and those guys. Because I got to be honest, like I said earlier, I just really I just really don't feel any kind of emotion or attachment. Like I have attachment to Master Chief, and that's something, a character that's been with me since what, 2001 or whatever. So there's great attachment there. Marcus and Dom and Cole and Baird, those guys were great. And I was really like attached to those characters. Like when Dom died and sacrificed himself, I was like, hey, that's cool. You know, like that got me. Like, well, Maria, that whole thing was awesome. And, you know, the commercials, like Marcus's dad was in 3, and they did these great commercials, Sounds of Silence. And I think War Pigs was one that they did for a Gears 3 commercial. Those were amazing, right? Like, holy crap. They do amazing commercials. Like, what the hell happened to their budget? Like, there's no advertising. There's no nothing. For the first time, I feel like there's zero hype behind this Gears of War game. And I don't know what to think about it, you know? I just think that it's kind of sad, and I hope that Microsoft kind of learns, because here's the thing. Even if this is just realistically a non-SJW thing, right? Like a social justice thing. Oh, no smoking in the game. Even if this is not really a social justice issue, right? People are gonna maybe spin it into one, and I think that could be a big problem, right? They look at it as censorship, because I'm looking at some comments right now, and people are like, "Kids shouldn't even be playing this game in the first place. Censorship is stupid." Um, I disagree. Gears is a mature rated franchise. A gaming showing smoking doesn't mean the game is actually promoting smoking. Um, I don't. It's overprotective. Mature 18 plus rated game with blood and guts is getting censored over kids smoking. Agree. So how do you use smoke grenades? So you wonder if there is going to be smoke grenades in it or whatever. This seems really dumb to me. Like everybody seems to be pissed off about this. And remember, I know that we're all kind of into this whole like echo, like what I see to be an echo chamber. Like there's this particular echo chamber on Twitter that I used to be kind of a part of, and now I kind of broke free of that. But they're the ones that are probably going to be like, oh, this isn't going to be a big deal. This is going to be great. This game's still going to be great. People were saying the same thing with Battlefield 5, right? When Battlefield 5 was like, we don't care what you think. Don't buy your game. We'll do what we want. You know, people didn't buy their game. I mean, it's that simple. Like Phil Spencer says, hey, we don't even need people to buy our console because we aren't about that life. Right. Like, and he doesn't say that per se, but, and people don't buy their console, that's like, you don't got to tell us twice. Right. Like, that's just, I feel like it's kind of crazy to think that we live in a day and age where video games are getting less and less. I mean, we still get R-rated movies and stuff. Like, I don't understand why it's so bad to have these characters smoke. Like, it's not even a big, like, you don't even notice it. That's the thing. It's like this brings attention to it more than anything else. And so the fact that they're kind of bringing attention to it when I would have never thought twice about it, I think that kind of tells everything you need to know about what Microsoft is doing and where their head's at. And hopefully in the future, we won't have to worry about this stuff. But this is absolutely going to hurt Microsoft, and they didn't need this type of publicity for this game so close to launch, right? Like, people are already worried about this game, the campaign, and it like taking a different angle because now they changed direction and now the protagonist is a woman. So even though these might not be true SJW issues, even though they might not be, people might think of it because is it really a coincidence? So you go from having guys, dude bros, as your main characters to a female, which that's yet to be seen, whether or not that is just something that they're forcing to force a narrative or not. I'm not sure, so I'm not going to really say either way until I play the game. Then you have stuff like this where they're editing out this because, and they seem like they're making the game kind of softer. Then they're not showing the campaign, maybe because they know people won't be happy about it. I don't know. It's really just speculation until the game comes out. But if you don't think people are looking at this and maybe worrying a bit more right now, you're crazy, right? There's zero hype around this game, and you have people kind of noticing what's going on here, and it doesn't look good. It's you got them changing everything to fit these agenda, or at least it looks like that they're trying to fit an agenda, and that to me is not a good thing. Absolutely not a good thing. Let's see. They shouldn't eat meat and Gears. Hey, Crap, I think people who want mobile gaming will go to Switch and get mobile phones and not play huge games on them. Do you agree? Actually, I couldn't agree more. If you're I remember I had a conversation with Albert Pinello, who worked at Microsoft for Xbox for a long time. And he was like, this was when I think Play Anywhere was just starting to happen. And me and him kind of got into it on Twitter a little bit because he goes, well, our study and our surveys show that 95% of Xbox One owners play on PC as well and also play mobile games. And I told him, I was like, I don't play on PC or mobile, and nobody I know does that, right? I was like my mom plays Candy Crush and stuff, but nobody I know that's a hardcore Xbox fan plays on PC as well. So I think your guys' survey is a little off, and he was like astounded by that. So I think that people that play mobile games play free games, right? Candy Crush or PUBG or whatever. You download the games, you play them, It's not, there's no streaming involved. I think it makes things more complicated. So I don't think that it's going to be a huge success. Hey, everybody, hit the like button. Maybe we can get up to 175 likes. I would love that. Power Gamer X says, crap, what Microsoft is doing with Gears gameplay is obvious. They're avoiding what happened with Days Gone. Any negative comment sticks and ends up in reviews. It could be that, but it doesn't show very good confidence in your product if you're not showing stuff. Just in my opinion. Alarm bells. If it sucks crap, you have a decision to make crap. Listen, I didn't buy the game. I'm playing it on Game Pass just because I don't want to be kind of tied to buying that game. If I don't have to, if it's a bad game or whatever. So hopefully not. In my opinion, it's bad to censor anything in an M-rated game, hence why it's rated M. Exactly my point. If you look at also what happened to Halo, like Halo, why is Halo T for teen all of a sudden, right? Like, and then we have this idea, right, that like I remember playing like the original Halo and Halo 2 and Halo 3 and Reach and all that stuff, and you're running around using the gun, and I used to go, well, I guess I can understand why it's rated M. And then they go this totally different route, and I hate getting into this, but to me, Halo 5 was Microsoft doing their SJW thing as well. So you guys can look into it, but I think Shannon Lothis at the time was like talking about Halo, and they're like, well, yeah, now we're bringing in, less of a focus on Master Chief, and we're bringing in these women and these great strong women characters and this and that. It's like they shoehorn these characters, and I have nothing against like one of my favorite shows is Buffy the Vampire Slayer, but it's like make your own thing. Halo was already its own thing. You don't have to shoehorn stuff into it to appeal to people. Like people are turned off by that. Gears is the same way. If that turns out to be true, like you don't have to shoehorn things into it. Okay. I'm sorry. And I know that might be controversial, but you don't have to shoehorn things into it. Like it was his own thing. Make something new with a strong female lead or strong other kind of lead. If that's what you want to do. Right. Like, I don't understand why you would go the opposite route and just shoehorn people in the franchise that people love. Now that remains to be seen with Gears. I'm not saying 100% that it would be, but I'm just saying I'm definitely keeping an eye out for that. So, Fun Creator says Halo woman power. Yeah. Alambi says that's all you got to do is make a video about nothing. You can get all you guys commenting on it. Incredible. Well, we'll have to see how it goes. I'm going to play it and let people know what I think. I would hope anyway that people would understand what a big Gears fan I am and give an honest kind of opinion on it. It's not a shtick or anything like that. I got a damn Gears tattoo on my arm. Like everybody knows it. They're like, hey, Gears of War. Like I'm hoping that's a thing that I can still continue to be proud of and not be some kind of weird thing where it sucks now. You know what I mean? It's like getting a Detroit Lions tattoo. Sorry if you're a Detroit Lions fan, by the way. It's just a joke. But you know what I'm saying? Like you definitely don't want to, you kind of want to be careful. And, I hope they don't ruin the franchise just for the sake of ruining it. If you just look at some of the stuff that they did with Star Wars, one of the main things that ruined Star Wars for me, and I'm a big Star Wars fan, is the fact that they got political with it and they got really SJW with it. It's like, let things be what they are, and just let people enjoy it for what it is. Right. There's none of this like political stuff. Like you don't have to force that. Like I get it. People like to be political nowadays more than ever, but stop shoving that down my throat. As someone who's not really political, like I laugh at all these guys, right? Like I'm not a big political person. I don't care is the main thing that I always say. Like vote for whoever the hell you want, but leave the politics away from me. I don't care what this guy did. I don't care what Trump said. I don't care what Hillary said. I don't care what Bernie Sanders does. It's all just like nonsense to me anyway. So leave that stuff at the door when it comes to video games. I don't care about your agendas. I just want to play great video games. And the fact that it seems like they're pushing more and more of this type of agenda at us as gamers is very disheartening, because I feel like we deserve better than this, in my opinion, anyway. Let's see. Rich says, I see a lot of you guys in the chat. I love this chat, man. It's great. Kevin Green says, what would happen if next E3 Sony says at the end, one more thing, you'll be able to play PS1, PS2, PS4, and PS3 games on PS5? That would be a mic drop moment. Now, there are rumors that they're going to have PS1 and PS2 on there. I'm not sure if they can do PS3. We'll have to see how that goes. They might be able to emulate that. So we'll have to see how it goes, man. I would love that because I still have a boatload of PS3 and PS2 and PS1 games physically. So Rich says, really hate these Xbox fans who are saying everything is okay and all that. I don't hate anybody, but I agree it's kind of annoying when they're like, Xbox will be fine. Like, how often do you think Xbox will be fine if they're not selling any consoles? Clearly, the lack of console sales hurt them as a brand to begin this generation. That's why they stopped making games and were probably close to being sold off. So how can everything be fine if that was the case to begin with? If you had to pivot to stay alive, how can everything be fine? That's always my point. Lone Star says, why do you think Halo 5 campaign was bad? Going away from Chief, Gears go away from Marcus. Exactly my point, Lone Star. Why do you want to change what isn't broken? It'd be like, and maybe they do in the next Uncharted. Maybe it's about her daughter or something else, or maybe it's Nadine and the other girl. I don't know. But for me, like Uncharted 4, you finish out, do the Drake thing. Look, Halo, do the Master Chief thing. Gears, do the Marcus thing. Like, I know they backed themselves in the corner by killing off Dom, but maybe make it so he jumped out last minute or something and really survived. Like, I don't understand why they would go the way that they did with that. I just feel like it was kind of a foolish decision to have him die. But at the same time, I think that it's, like fans are, we're all kind of fans of something. And I feel like it's you're really kind of screwing over the fans when you do stuff like this. So I hope that Microsoft sees that people, they have to be less tone deaf in the future, in my opinion. So let's see. TD Bank says it's because Sony censored their games at E3. They'll announce they're bringing sexy back. I wouldn't be surprised if they're like, we don't do any of that. JD Gamer says it has to be a combination of good sales, good marketing, good hardware, and good games to get Xbox back where they used to be. They have to actually act like they give a damn about their console fans too, man. Like, I got to be honest. For me personally, and I see a lot of this from different people, you have to act like you care about the Xbox, the console. Xbox can be this, Xbox can definitely be this ecosystem that they want. And I don't care about that. Right? Like, I literally do not care about that, but I feel like the second that you're treating Xbox console owners differently or like second class citizens, I feel like that's something that is a problem. So, I just do feel like that is a bit of a problem, and I feel like Microsoft should probably apologize and maybe come clean a little bit with some of the constraints they had, because people are understanding, like, we can just speculate until Microsoft actually say something. But if they were to go, we were mired down, there was a time when Xbox wasn't doing so good, the sales were down, and we couldn't create games, because I see a lot of people go, well, Microsoft, they didn't have a lot of first party, blah blah blah. Well, they've never had a ton of first party. The big problem, the thing that Microsoft has always had going for them is they're Microsoft, and therefore you can easily buy like second party exclusive. Look, Gears was a second party exclusive that they bought, and I feel like they bought a ton of really good second party exclusives. So why not go out there and buy something for your fans? Like, that to me, I never understood that. Like, get out there and and support your fans, the people that were with you through thick and thin. Like, this past E3, that wasn't an E3 for me. That was a freaking Game Pass commercial for PC. Like, that's the thing. Like, I can spot this stuff from a mile away. It's like, I get it. I can play multiplats halfway decent on my X. That should have been the console to launch with for $500 in the first place. And then you guys should have put out some games and stopped with this crazy DRM and kind of nonsense. So they hurt themselves. And then we are forced to pay for their mistake by having to buy new improved consoles. And I know it's not forced, like, we're not forced to buy them, but it's like, if you want to play these games and you have your friends or this ecosystem, and then, you get attached to something like Xbox Live, and now it's like, well, they want to force crossplay on you. And if you don't like crossplaying, hey, you're screwed, because I feel like their eventual end goal is crossplay with everything. Hey, crossplay on PC, crossplay on, crossplay on a tablet. Sure. You're on your console playing at home on your 300 megabit fiber optic line, play against somebody who's like using Wi-Fi on a touchpad iPad or something, using touch controls, right? Like that's going to be real fair for everybody. That's going to, what a satisfying way to game, right? Like that's always been my kind of problem. You know, just I don't understand it. I don't. Sometimes Microsoft is they surprise me in like the worst possible way. You know, even when you know like this, okay, like this is what Phil says, right? And this is like the article that that I kind of was talking about to start this video, which go ahead and hit the like button, guys, if you don't mind. I'm going to read a Phil Spencer quote. He says, this is why we've backed away from the race on how many consoles we can sell or announce the sales of as many consoles as possible. I'm not at all trying to say that, but the real root of the business is how many customers are engaged in your service, how engaged are they, and can you keep that number growing? During that same interview, he said that he thinks Project Scarlet won't be the last Xbox console, which just because he says that, I mean, Phil has said a lot of different things, to be honest with you, but for me personally, I'm not really sure that's going to be true. Like things change. So he really says, I actually never really need that customer to go buy a new piece of hardware. The business is around software and service growth. This is the profitable part of the business. Selling the hardware is not the profitable part of the business. And this is the part that I always kind of jumped at, right? It was like, okay, I get that that's not where you make money by selling consoles, but Phil, do you not understand that if you sell a whole ton of consoles, you can sell more software, more services, right? I mean, obviously, if Microsoft would have been selling 100 million consoles like Sony, they'd be in a much better position today than they are, you know? Sure, they're making money, but look at everything that they have combined in the quote unquote Xbox, right? It's like Minecraft, which is on everything. Havoc Engine, which is like on everything. PlayFab, Azure, all this stuff is like counting towards Xbox, and Xbox itself, like the game, like nobody's buying Xboxes anymore. Like it's just literally nobody's buying them. Like I don't know anybody in real life aside from my brother who has an Xbox One. Right? Like nobody has one. It's completely they've made it completely redundant and pointless. You don't need one to play Xbox games. There's nothing special about it. If you want to play games really well on a console, yeah, you can spend the $500 for the X, but there's nothing that Microsoft is making that makes it special or that makes it worthwhile. So yeah, like I've always kind of like had my doubts as to why things kind of happen the way they do, but at the end of the day, I feel like Microsoft kind of dropped the ball with what they're doing in terms of the Xbox One X by not allowing anybody to showcase any kind of great games on it. Like, and if you look at this no smoking thing on Xbox, right? And let's just, again, let's just look at some of the games that Microsoft is coming out with. It's like you have racing games, you have, you know, a Halo game, which now has been pushed back to T for teen. You have Gears, and now apparently you're switching your character over to a woman, maybe for good, maybe it's organically, maybe not, we don't know yet, but you're cutting out smoking and sayings and all this kind of stuff. You know, you've got stuff, you're buying up studios that make stuff like Wasteland 3 and Bard's Tale and We Happy Few, you know, these are very cartoony, like games that I don't think anybody, you know, you have Rare, you have Sea of Thieves, which is an okay game, but it's like, you know, where does it end? You know, like, you say you're not mandating different things, but most of your games lately are definitely not games that are going to appeal to people. Like nobody's going out there and going, man, I really got to get that Xbox to play Bard's Tale 4, or I really got to get that Xbox to play Wasteland 5. You know, not even Forza. People are like the Motorsport series took a huge step back, in my opinion, as well. You know, and even a lot of the games that Microsoft had going for it, like Sunset Overdrive, like it looks like that game's going to go to PlayStation 4 as well as the Nintendo Switch. So yeah, I definitely feel like Phil Spencer is kind of making Gears 5 friendlier, and like I know that they're kind of behind that or whatever. What remains to be seen exactly what happens with that, but I hope not anyway. I hope not. So Xbox had a job ad for an environmental designer to make Horizon Zero Dawn environments. Now they're making Joy-Cons. Yeah, I guess. Berserker says, crap, you fought a good fight, but sadly the cavalry never came to back you up. Microsoft was supposed to come through with the first party content Yeah, it sucks. I wish Microsoft was really. I had faith, right? So when people ask me, well, what do you think, Crap? Do you think that there's any hope left for Microsoft? I don't think there's any hope left for Microsoft for Xbox. The way that most of us look at a console, I think that there could be if Microsoft actually started caring about the brand, about the console itself, but it just doesn't look like they really care. Um, about the brand enough to do that. So that's unfortunate, because I think Xbox was such a great thing. And just like I have so many great memories with Xbox, and to see it kind of go the way that it's gone, very much a kind of a sad day. Each time there's a story like this that comes out, or they kind of change things up or whatever. It just feels like another nail in the coffin for me for Xbox. Like I hope that's not the case, but I hope that they kind of listen to the fans and get some fan input, some actual fans, like the hardcore fans. Like quit worrying about the people on social media who are kissing your ass all the time. Go ask the fans that are out there spending thousands of dollars on your platform, on your games, that stuck with you through the BS. I feel like that's the people that Microsoft should be listening to, and they're not listening to those people at all. They're just kind of listening to the ones that are telling them what they want to hear, and that's usually the wrong way to go about things. So hopefully they can change, and they do have time to change. I feel like probably this sad edition, which if you guys are just joining me, I talked about this a little bit earlier, where Microsoft had great sales expectations, even though they never talk about sales, according to Brad Sams. And he says he has proof that Microsoft had huge sales expectations for the Xbox One SAT edition, which is the diskless Xbox One S. He said they had extremely high sales expectations, right, for this game or for this console. And apparently nobody's bought it, right? Like nobody's bought this game console. So what's that tell you about Microsoft, right? They're very out of touch with what people want. And I feel like that's incredibly accurate statement. Like, where does that tone deafness come from, and where does it end? Right? That's a huge thing that I kind of want to know. Like, where does that end? Okay. Like, obviously, does it with the games? Like, we're telling them we want new AAA games, and they're just like, you know, eh. Like, that seems to be like their moniker. You bring up anything, like, why haven't you guys announced any games? And they're like, like games, what are those? Like, I feel like they don't get it. Like, fans want games. If you don't have something specific for that console, nobody's going to buy it. And maybe they're not worried about people buying that console, but even if you're using your previous gen consoles, right? Even if like the games work on the current stuff, the S's and stuff, how many people have those, man? Like, I would wager 40 million or less, right? Like, so I would say not a ton of people have an Xbox One this generation, especially compared to previous ones. So I believe that maybe they've sold 45 million, but actively there's probably 35 million, maybe less. So I feel like they have an incredibly low install base, and people in general just talk down. They don't look at Xbox as being this quality thing anymore like it used to be. So that's incredibly unfortunate to me, because I feel like Xbox used to be the best, and it used to mean something to gamers, and now it's just a joke. And if you look at people, it's like Phil doesn't get it, man. Exclusive content. You make your console owners happy. You make your fans happy. I don't get a lot of the strategy that they do now. Like, I don't particularly care, and I would care less if they had actual good games out, right? Like, if they were releasing great content, then I would care much less. But it's like right now, it's super evident that they don't give a shit, and that's very unfortunate for me. So, Berserker says 360 was the best console of the 7th gen by far. I agree 100%. Who's handling Gears marketing again? Crap, Nikki, I believe. Enough said. If it is that Nikki girl, I don't know. Like, where's the marketing campaign? I know Mike Nichols is the head of marketing or something for Xbox, but yeah, who the hell is in charge of the Gears marketing? We haven't seen anything And that's super, super sad. Hey, let's get up to 175 likes, you guys and girls. I would appreciate it. You guys have been absolutely fantastic. I'm going to answer some more questions and stuff. I'm also going to be doing Crossfire podcast. Should be good because I know everybody's going to have something to say when it comes to this Gears thing. It's probably going to be a pretty big topic, and I can understand why, because obviously it comes across as Microsoft censoring stuff, and that's never a good look, especially for Xbox and with what we kind of are dealing with in our day-to-day lives. People are always looking to kind of, and I'm gonna be honest, I guess maybe overreact a little bit, right? Like looking for something to be pissed off about. But I think it's easy to be pissed off at Microsoft lately and Xbox. So I can imagine that a lot of people are probably going to be talking about this. Going to be a huge topic, and it could end up, if Microsoft isn't careful, because they haven't been careful yet with this game, be like a battle cry for people not to buy the game, not to support the game, based on kind of SJW type situation. So I feel like Microsoft needs to kind of tread lightly with what they're doing, just because you don't want this thing spinning out of control. Like maybe address some of the other issues as well. Get some campaign footage out there. Just, talk about your game a little bit. Like we know more about Death Stranding than this game, and I think that's absolutely asinine. Like, why your game's coming out in 50 days and you absolutely have nothing to show for it yet, right? Like you're doing some kind of weird reveal for esports or whatever. Like, why are you focusing on esports? Why not focus on the people that love the Gears campaign and the Gears franchise? I don't get it. Like, Microsoft isn't really getting it. Obi-Wan says, "Hi, crap, no hate, just hi." Hey, what's up? How's it going? I appreciate you stopping by for a second. We're just kind of talking about some stuff. Oh, Xbot is here, man. Xbot, do you think they should vape in the game? Would I Nuke San Francisco says, would I pay $800 for a PS5? No way. And that's way too rich for my blood. I couldn't. I think just for me, like, I'm getting married and stuff, so $500 is probably tops for me for a console. And I probably am not going to get the Xbox Scarlet at launch. They would have to really showcase something for me, like really give me a big reason to get that. And I feel like they haven't really given me a huge reason to kind of upgrade and get that console. So I hope that they do, but it looks for me like it's going to be it looks to me like it's strictly going to be PS5 at launch, and then I'll have to wait and see when it comes to the Xbox Scarlet. They really need to show me something, man. It's got to be more than Battletoads and 2D little AA stuff and Bleeding Edge, man. I want to see some AAA games that that look like they could actually win a Game of the Year award. I play games for fun, but if a game has it gives you a great experience, right? And if a game is great, then that makes the fun even better. So sure, you can have fun with a Crackdown 3 for a little bit, but that experience isn't a lasting one. It's not a good one. I don't look back and go, Crackdown 3 was the jam, it was the shit. But I look back at God of War or Red Dead Redemption 2, and those games are amazing. Detroit, Spider-Man, like, these games are amazing. Uncharted, these are amazing games. Like, Gears 3 was an amazing game. Like, Halo 4, Halo 3, Halo Reach. These were amazing games. I don't know what Microsoft has to do to get back to that, but they definitely have to do something to appeal to appeal to the fans and stuff. Like, they've got to do something to change that up. I hope so anyway. Dual Purpose says, 45 million Xbox One. How they sold 1.5 in the last 6 months and had max 36 million at the end of 2018. I'm just saying, like, there's an outside chance that they could be at 45 million, but I don't think that they have that many actively or anything like that. So, I mean, you could be right. I'm just giving my particular point of view on that. Mario Heat, he has an interesting thing. He says Crackdown 3 was the best mindless fun game of the year, 1,000+ hours. Now with the wingsuit, you can't even really fly with, just kind of pull a Batman with. Oh, are you being facetious? Now True says, crap, let's play State of Decay crossplay. No, thank you. Ryzen says, crap, what game are you hyped for the most besides Gears? I'm looking forward to, believe it or not, Modern Warfare. Death Stranding has piqued my interest. Yeah, like I would say that those games probably piqued my interest quite a bit. You know, when it comes to what's coming out. When it comes to on the Xbox side, I hope so. When it comes to like the trailers for Gears, maybe we can come up with some kind of crowdfunding or something to where to where Microsoft can afford to put up some advertisements and stuff like that. I really feel like we need something to sort of showcase what they're doing. I just really feel like that's exactly what needs to happen. And I'm just kind of bummed by the fact that Microsoft seems very oblivious to what we're doing. So, okay. So I just got sent something. Apparently that E3 trailer, which I didn't particularly like, was in fact by Nikki. That kind of explains a lot of things. Not that I'm hating. I just wish that Microsoft would go back to like the Gears type of. If you want to be nostalgic, right? Like I feel like they need to play on the nostalgia a bit, right? Like what Sony and Nintendo do, right? People have very good nostalgic memories about Gears. Maybe it was the first game they got an Xbox 360 for, or they love the franchise. What we saw at E3, that trailer, and what we've seen so far for the new Gears stuff, those aren't very nostalgic. They aren't grabbing at anybody. They aren't really, they're not really appealing to a lot of people, in my opinion. So, I hope that they kind of fix that. And, I just can't really believe that Microsoft has this out of touch, with the fans and stuff. It's very upsetting. Kind of as I look at what's going on. If you look at the people that Microsoft are hiring, right, and this isn't particularly, I guess, maybe a knock at anyone in particular, but they used to have kick-ass marketing people. They used to do kick-ass marketing campaigns. They used to really know what the gamers want. And now if you look at what they have working for them, it's like hipsters and, people that I don't know. They aren't my type of, they don't know what I want in particular. It's really it's really, as I'm looking at this is just horrible marketing by them. I can't stand it. Am I excited for the Dark Pictures anthology Man of Medan? Yes, I am actually looking forward to that. Hey, hit the like button, guys and girls. We are close to yes, bring back Mad World. I would love that. I remember the War Pigs one. I was actually listening to that earlier because it's such an amazing song and such an amazing trailer behind that game. Just they did such a really good job with that, and now to see where we've gotten now, absolutely sort of a kind of wash my hands of the whole situation. It just, I don't understand what the hell they were thinking, and hopefully they kind of get it right before it's too late. You still have 50 days. I'm not sure what they can do in those 50 days, but maybe they can actually pull out something and sort of get people excited about this game, because I've never seen people less excited for a Gears game in my life. And I don't understand what Microsoft is waiting for. Are they not going to advertise this at all? That's, you have to wonder, like, hey, what the hell is the deal here? What are they waiting for? What's the deal? I think that's probably my main thing for this whole situation is, why is Microsoft waiting so long to pull the trigger on advertising this game, unless they know it's bad? Like, this game has less advertising than I would say Crackdown, or they have the same amount as Crackdown. None. But at least Crackdown had Terry freaking Crews, right? What's Gears have? Gears has nothing right now. There's literally nothing to get excited about for Gears. I think that it's it's really piss poor what we've seen so far out of Microsoft when it comes to Gears. And maybe they'll change that. Maybe they're waiting, but I don't understand what the hell they're waiting for. I just don't understand what the deal is. Why would they wait? Why does it Why do they continue to do this? It absolutely makes no sense whatsoever. I don't understand. You know, I don't understand whatsoever. Just completely blows my mind. I'm going to ask some questions or answer some questions before I leave. I'll answer a few more questions. Sleepy Goblin, man, he says, I'm not sure what I should be excited for, though. I'm getting it, though, really, through Game Pass, done deal, so excitement isn't really a thing for me. Sleepy, here's the thing. I am excited, or I'm not excited either. This was going to be my most anticipated game, but the lack of hype for it, the lack of revealing anything, the lack of sharing any news about the game, the lack of trailers, the lack of anything really has killed that hype. I'm getting it through Game Pass. I'm not expecting to be blown away like I was with previous Gears games. It looks like this is like Microsoft's new direction in a nutshell. So, yeah. Sickly Sound says, crap, have you tried Wipeout Omega Collection in VR? I think on the PlayStation VR, yeah. Like, I have a ton of PlayStation VR games. So, yeah. Crap, pretty unorthodox strategy for a game they believe in. No gameplay footage until days before launch. What's worse is it's not even before launch. What they're doing is, you know, they're showing the gameplay the day of launch in early access or the ultimate edition. So the 6th of September is when they're actually going to be showing the gameplay footage for the campaign. That is literally the day it launches. That's kind of unacceptable to me. I don't understand what the deal is with that. More harmonica, just like more cowbell. Neverland, yes, Crossfire tonight. Give me your jacket. Hey, you actually asked a good question. He says, crap, why not play the hundreds of titles you already own and make videos of fun times? Minute by minute rants of Xbox is depressing. Gaming is supposed to be fun. Talk about this as a panel. Well, listen, I feel like when you do panel shows, everybody has to get their word in. And I feel like I can do long form videos like this much better than I could in a panel group and get more of my opinion out. And also I want to remind you, so I can explain a little bit more. For me, at this particular point in the generation, I tried playing stuff and having fun with it. Like there is some stuff that I have enjoyed, like the Crash Nitro Kart, and I started up Rage 2 thanks to Sleepy Goblin. He hooked it up, and that's fun. But for the most part, well, that's because that Rage is kind of new, right? Like Rage 1, it's completely different than Rage 1, so it's almost like a new IP to me. Crash is a nostalgia thing. Sonic Team Racing, kind of a nostalgia thing. Those are, you know, kart racing kind of casual things. But, you know, I tried playing Anthem and the Division 2 and, you know, these other games, and all these games just seem so similar and so boring and so not really anything special. And then I started, but I am having a good time playing like games on PS4 and the Switch because there's exclusives on there that really take advantage of the hardware. The developers know what they're doing, and they feel different. They're different than what we've kind of crammed down our throats. Like the Xbox One X is a multi-platform machine. There's nothing exclusive great on it, you know, and so that's why one of the reasons I'm so disheartened, because I'm tired. Like everything else feels same old to me. The exclusives, which that's what kind of pisses me off. Like we haven't got the exclusives, and Microsoft fails to announce anything, so there's not anything to be excited about, right? Like even stuff that I used to be excited about, like Gears, absolutely no reason to be excited about that, right? Like they're killing it off. Like I was hoping that they weren't going this way, and maybe it's not going like a SJW way or whatever, but at the same time, it looks like it might be headed that way. So if it is headed that way, it is what it is, but I'm going to be disappointed and upset, you know? And so I feel like you know, while gaming is fun, and eventually I'm going to get back into just being able to have fun with the games and stuff again. I feel like once we start getting some games rolling, but until then, you know, I don't mind talking about, you know, what's kind of grinding my gears, if you would, you know, like, you know, people seem kind of receptive to it. So hopefully that helps you out. Crap, you making the trip to London for XO? No, man, I don't think I could fly. You know what I mean? Hold on. Ryzen says, crap, you need to relax. It seems like you're self-destructing, taking things to an extreme at times. I get it. I don't think so. Like, I don't really know. Yeah, I'm watching Extreme Rules this Sunday for sure. You know, like YouTube is just for fun for me. I use it to vent. It's kind of like a blog for me or whatever. I have fun with it. I understand like some people get tired of like some of the negativity, and there's plenty of people out there that'll give you good news. And I still do some of the good stuff, right? Like I'm excited by some of the stuff Microsoft does or whatever, some of the features, but I should be I should be able to do videos about great new exclusives coming to Xbox, not new features or services. That to me is the stark contrast between Xbox and PlayStation. So that's just my particular opinion on that kind of subject. Is I hope that we get great games to talk about. So um Crap, you watch? Yeah, Extreme Rules. I'm going to. Rich says, "Hey, Crap, what do you think about Sony's PS5 message and hearing it towards hardcore gamers?" Well, I feel like Sony is paying closer attention to the Xbox community than Microsoft because they see, you know, because they see what Xbox fans are upset about, and they're like, "Hey, we're doing hardcore games over here." So I feel like that was very smart of them to kind of do that. So yeah, very interesting. Very, very interesting. So, Dog of War says self-destructing. He's just stating fact for the most part with some opinion thrown in. Yeah, you know, not everybody's going to dig it. I understand it, and that's fine. Uh, you know, I feel like for me personally, this was, I couldn't just sit there and just BS everybody and pretend like I was super happy, you know? So yeah, that's just kind of how I feel about it. I know not everybody's going to agree, and I know that there's other people out there that, that are going to be pissed off about this, but it is what it is. So I'm going to answer two more questions real quick, and then I got to get the hell out of here. Get ready for, I'm going to get ready for that great Crossfire. I like Undertaker too, man. He's a good guy. Hit the like button before you guys go and stuff like that. Let's see. We love you. Hey, I appreciate it. You're right, but didn't you think Microsoft reaches casual gamers at Sony is hardcore? Microsoft will eat Sony. No, because I think casual gamers don't buy games. You know, casual gamers play like a game or two and they play free stuff. They're not buying a console. They're not going to, they're not going to care. They're going to, they can play, the people are going to play with their friends play. PlayStation 5 is going to do amazing stuff. One typical Latino says, do more vids with Z. That's the plan. We're going to be doing some stuff very soon. Who's my favorite wrestler? Braun Strowman. My favorite male wrestler, Alexa Bliss, is my favorite female wrestler. I watch wrestling all the time. I'm a big wrestling fan, so I know a lot of you guys probably know that. But yeah, definitely wrestling is one of the things that I definitely do. Who do I predict will be better, Death Stranding or Gears 5? I think Gears 5 is going to score lower than Gears 4, and I think Death Stranding is going to be a Game of the Year candidate. I think Death Stranding is going to be a high 80s, maybe low 90s meta. So people like Kojima is a media darling. Let's just be real. The guy's going to get, he's going to get props for his game. I feel like Gears, it's the fifth or sixth entry in the game franchise. They're doing different things. They're not showing things. I don't know when the embargo comes up for what they're going to be showing, but I can almost guarantee you that, it's going to be a situation where the game's not going to do as good as the last one. Even I just don't. I feel it. So, do I like AEW? I think AEW is okay. I don't think like they're the be all end all or something that's going to kill WWE. I feel like AEW is made up, doesn't have any of their own homegrown stars. They just went out and kind of did what WCW did and just bought a bunch of people, and that's probably not the brightest thing to do. So, I still prefer WWE. When am I making I make my wrestling debut in WWE games. I do that ago. Matty B says, great show. Looking forward to moving back to the States. Hey, man, I appreciate it, dude. Appreciate you coming out here and moderating and stuff. Thank you guys so much. Rohit says, Gears Tactics still not confirmed for Xbox. Don't know that they're going to announce it. They might never announce it. Hey, hit the like button. We will catch you guys later. Make sure you guys check out Crossfire in a little bit on Mooch's channel. Peace out. Rack 'em up. Later.